Welcome back to the Learning Curve, where we dive deep into the latest and most pressing issues in education. Today, we're tackling a shocking and controversial topic, the NEET scandal of 2024. This scandal has sent shockwaves through the nation, impacting students, parents, and the entire educational system. Make sure to stick around till the end for all the details. Let's get started. First, let's start with a quick overview of what NEET is. The National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, NEET, is an entrance examination in India for students who wish to study undergraduate medical courses, MBBS, and dental courses, BDS, in government or private medical and dental colleges across the country. NEET was introduced by the Indian government to streamline the medical entrance process, ensuring a uniform and transparent system. The National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, or NEET, for the year 2024 results were released earlier than expected, sparking a buzz among students, parents, and coaching centers filled with anticipation. The air was thick with excitement and nervous energy as everyone awaited their fate. But then, shock rippled through the crowd. The initial joy turned into confusion and disbelief. Whispers of an anomaly began to circulate when 6 students, all from the same exam center, achieved perfect scores. This was not just a rare occurrence, it was unheard of. This was unprecedented. Impossible, perhaps? The odds of such a feat were astronomical. The whispers grew louder, echoing the sentiment that something was terribly wrong. Conversations in hushed tones filled the air, each more incredulous than the last. This wasn't just a statistical improbability, it was a glaring red flag. It was a siren song of something far more sinister. The shadows of doubt began to creep in, casting a pall over the celebrations. The NEET exam, known as a gateway to prestigious medical colleges in India and lauded for its rigor and impartiality, now had its credibility hanging precariously in the balance. The integrity of the entire examination process was under scrutiny. The early release of results, coupled with the impossible achievement of the 6 toppers, hinted at a deeper conspiracy. Questions about the sanctity of the exam paper and the possibility of leaks began to surface. The question wasn't if something was amiss, but what it was and how far it reached. The entire academic community was on edge, waiting for answers that seemed elusive. 6 perfect scores from one exam center. It was a moment of jubilation, a testament to hard work and dedication, or so it seemed. Mathematicians would argue that the odds of such an occurrence were astronomical. The probability of 6 students achieving perfect scores simultaneously from the same exam center defied logic and statistical norms. The NEET exam, with its complex syllabus and fierce competition, had never before seen such a concentration of top performers from a single institution. This unprecedented cluster raised eyebrows and questions. The statistical anomaly was too glaring to ignore. It was an outlier, a blip in the data that screamed manipulation. Experts began to scrutinize the results, searching for any irregularities. Rumors began to circulate. Had the exam paper been leaked? Were there other irregularities at play? Whispers of foul play spread like wildfire. The questions spread through the student community like wildfire, fueled by anxiety and a growing sense of injustice. Students who had worked tirelessly felt cheated and betrayed. The silence from the authorities only amplified the suspicions. Their lack of response was deafening, creating a vacuum filled with doubt and speculation. The more they evaded, the deeper the doubt grew. Each unanswered question added to the pile of suspicions, creating an atmosphere thick with uncertainty. The 6 toppers, once objects of envy and admiration, were now at the epicenter of a national scandal. Their achievements, once celebrated, were now under a cloud of suspicion, turning their triumph into a tale of controversy. Grace marks, a seemingly innocuous term, yet in the context of NEET 2024, it became a loaded phrase. Reports emerged of students receiving an unusually high number of grace marks, particularly in specific sections of the exam. These weren't minor adjustments, but significant score inflations that could mean the difference between acceptance and rejection to medical school. The implications were staggering. If grace marks were being awarded arbitrarily, it meant that the playing field was no longer level. Students who had genuinely excelled were being disadvantaged, their dreams held hostage by a system that seemed rigged. the integrity of the entire examination process was called into question. The NEET exam, once a symbol of meritocracy, was morphing into a symbol of corruption. The scandal erupted. Newspapers ran headlines questioning the fairness of the exam. Social media platforms became breeding grounds for outrage and accusations. Students, parents, and educators demanded answers. The pressure mounted on the authorities to address the growing crisis. Yet, the official response was slow, hesitant, and ultimately unsatisfactory. Denials were issued, but they lacked conviction. Investigations were promised, but they seemed designed to appease rather than uncover the truth. The more the authorities tried to downplay the scandal, the more suspicious they appeared. The public's trust, once implicit, was shaken to its core. Section 5. A pattern of irregularities past ghost stories of NEET exams. This wasn't an isolated incident. The NEET exam had been haunted by whispers of irregularities in the past. Rumors of paper leaks, cheating scandals, and manipulation of results had surfaced before, only to be swept under the rug. Each time the authorities promised reform, but the problems persisted. The 2024 scandal, however, felt different. It was bolder, more brazen. The sheer number of toppers from a single center, the blatant manipulation of grace marks, and the clumsy attempts at cover-up pointed to a systemic rot. It was a stark reminder that the pursuit of academic excellence was often overshadowed by greed, corruption, and the abuse of power. Section 6. Collateral damage. The human cost of a compromised system. Beyond the statistics and the outrage lay the human cost of the scandal. Students already burdened by the immense pressure to succeed were left disillusioned and disheartened. Their hard work, their sacrifices, their dreams felt meaningless in the face of such blatant injustice. For some, the scandal had life-altering consequences. Those who had been denied a fair shot at their dreams because of manipulation and corruption would carry the scars of this experience for years to come. The NEET 2024 scandal wasn't just about an exam. It was about shattered aspirations, broken trust, and the erosion of faith in a system that was supposed to provide equal opportunity for all. Section 7. The price of silence. Eroding trust in educational institutions. The silence from those in power spoke volumes. By downplaying the scandal and evading accountability, the authorities were complicit in perpetuating a culture of impunity. This lack of transparency eroded public trust, not just in the NEET exam, but in the entire educational system. When those responsible for upholding the integrity of exams fail to do so, it sends a dangerous message. It normalizes cheating, rewards corruption, and undermines the very foundations of meritocracy. The NEET 2024 scandal was a stark reminder that the pursuit of justice often requires a relentless fight against powerful forces determined to maintain the status quo. Section 8. A call for transparency, demanding accountability and reform. In the aftermath of the scandal, a chorus of voices rose, demanding accountability and reform. Students, parents, educators, and concerned citizens called for a thorough and impartial investigation into the irregularities. They demanded transparency in the awarding of grace marks and a complete overhaul of the examination system. The demand wasn't just for punishment, it was for prevention. It was about creating a system that valued integrity, merit, and fairness above all else. It was about ensuring that every student, regardless of their background or connections, had an equal opportunity to succeed. The NEET 2024 scandal, as devastating as it was, had the potential to be a catalyst for positive change. Section 9. Reclaiming the narrative, empowering students, restoring integrity. The NEET 2024 scandal exposed the vulnerabilities of a system that had become too opaque, too vulnerable to manipulation. But it also ignited a spark of activism, a collective determination to reclaim the narrative and demand better. Students, empowered by technology and driven by a thirst for justice, organized online campaigns, petitions, and peaceful protests. They shared their stories, exposed inconsistencies, and challenged the authorities to be held accountable. Their voices, once fragmented, coalesced into a powerful force, demanding a fairer, more transparent system. Section 10. Towards a fairer future. Reimagining entrance exams in India. The current system has long been criticized for its overemphasis on rote learning and memorization. The NEET 2024 scandal served as a wake-up call, highlighting the vulnerabilities within the system. It was a stark reminder that even the most established systems can be compromised, leading to widespread distrust and disillusionment among students and parents alike. This incident underscored the urgent need to reimagine entrance exams in India, pushing for reforms that go beyond superficial changes. We need to move away from a culture of rote learning and high-stakes testing towards a more holistic evaluation of students' abilities, including their creativity, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. The path forward requires a multi-pronged approach, addressing various facets of the educational system. Strengthening security measures to prevent paper leaks and cheating is crucial, ensuring the integrity of the examination process. Implementing a transparent and accountable system for awarding grace marks is non-negotiable. But more fundamentally, we need to rethink our educational priorities. It requires a paradigm shift in how we view education and success, moving towards a more inclusive and comprehensive understanding of student potential. It's time to move beyond the pressure cooker of entrance exams, which often lead to stress and burnout among students. Instead, we should create a system that nurtures critical thinking, problem-solving, and a genuine love for learning, preparing students for the challenges of the future. The NEET scam scandal of 2024 is a wake-up call for all of us. It underscores the need for stricter regulations and the importance of integrity in our education system. What are your thoughts on this scandal? How can we prevent such issues in the future? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to The Learning Curve for more in-depth coverage on important educational topics. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.